वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुता पदकमलं रामा हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु Krishna
Go राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा। बंधु मोई सावधान मते, बंधु मोई सावधान मते। जहाँ रे प्रसादे भाई एव भक्तरिया आई। जहाँ रे प्रसादे भाई एव भक्तरिया आई। कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए यहाँ होइते, कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए होइते गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्य चित्तते करिया क्या गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्य चित्तते करिया क्या हरे ना करिह मने आशा हरे न करिह मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्म जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्म जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता प्रेम भक्ति आयते अविद्या विनाश जायते प्रेम भक्ति आयते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेदे गाए हरे चरिता वेदे गाए हरे चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु प्रभुपद करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु गुरुदेव करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु हे व्यास गोशुक्त्री लोके नाथ लोके राजीवाना लोके नाथ लोकेर जीवन हाँ प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हाँ प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभुपाद करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया गुरुदेव करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया ए व्यास गुरुशुक त्रिभुवन ए व्यास गुरुशुक त्रिभुवन श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन जय प्रभुपदा 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 श्रीला प्रभुपदा प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की गुरु पूजारती की नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात दिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे, तुम बिना के दयालु जगत संसारे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे, तुम बिना के दयालु जगत संसारे। पतित पावन हेतु तब अवतार, मुसम पतित प्रभु न पाइबे आर। हाँ प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी, कृपावलोकन करो आमी बड़ दुखी। दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई, तब कृपा बले पाई चैतन्य निताई। हाँ स्वरूप सनातन रूप रघुनाथ, भट्टयुग श्री जीव हाँ प्रभु लोकनाथ। दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास, रामचंद्र संग मांगे नरोत्तम दास। दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास, रामचंद्र संग मांगे नरोत्तम दास। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोविंद श्री राधे। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान। जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व। जय जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौरे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौरे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की। इस्कॉन संत कापकाचार्य वीवीटी संत कापकाचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जी महाराज की। साक्षात वैराग्य मूर्ति शिल गौर किशोरदास बाबा जी महाराज की, सच्चिदानंद शिल भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की, वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की, षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की, नाम आचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, गंगा माई जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्री श्री राधा गोविंद देव भगवान की, श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी महाराज की, श्री श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की, संवेद भक्त वृंद की। सभी भक्तों की जय जयकार हो हरे कृष्णा, सभी भक्तों की जय जयकार हो हरे कृष्णा, सभी भक्तों की जय जयकार हो हरे कृष्णा। श्री श्री गुरु और गौरांग जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की।
हरे कृष्णा। तो सभी गुरु वंदना दोहराने का प्रयास करेंगे। आध्यात्मिक गुरु के चरण कमल ही एकमात्र साधन है जिनके द्वारा हम शुद्ध भक्ति प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। मैं उनके चरण कमलों में अत्यंत भक्ति एवं श्रद्धापूर्वक नतमस्तक होता हूँ। उनकी कृपा से जीव भौतिक कलेशों के महासागर को पार कर सकता है तथा कृष्ण की कृपा प्राप्त कर सकता है। मेरी एकमात्र इच्छा है कि उनके मुख कमल से निकले हुए शब्दों द्वारा अपनी चेतना को शुद्ध करूं। उनके चरण कमलों में अनुराग ऐसी सिद्धि है जो समस्त मनोरथों को पूर्ण करती है। वह मेरी बंद आँखों को खोलते हैं तथा मेरे हृदय में दिव्य ज्ञान भरते हैं। जन्म जन्मांतरों से वे मेरे प्रभु हैं। हे गुरुदेव, करुणा सिंधु तथा पतितात्माओं के मित्र, आप सबके गुरु एवं सभी लोगों के जीवन हैं। हे गुरुदेव, करुणा सिंधु तथा पतितात्माओं के मित्र, आप सबके गुरु एवं सभी लोगों के जीवन हैं। मुझ पर दया कीजिए तथा मुझे अपने श्री चरणों की छाया प्रदान कीजिए। आपका यश तीनों लोकों में फैला हुआ है। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। निताय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
वंशपाद परमंश परिव्राजकाचार्य सदस्यमान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्ति वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। नववेद भक्ति वृंद की जय। All glories to Krishna. All glories to Krishna. All glories to Krishna. Thank you very much.
What is that?
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Tasya Purisha Surabhi Saugandhya Vayus Tam Desham Dashayojanam Samantat Surabhin Chakara Tasyaha Yah Purisha Surabhi Saugandhya Vayus Tang Desham Dashayojanam Samantat Surabhin Chakara
Tasyahiya Purisha Surabhi Saugandhyavayustam Desham Dashayojanam Samantat Surabhim Chakara
Tasyahaya Purisha Surabhi Saugandhyavayustam Desham Dashayojanam Samantat Surabhim Chakara
Tasya his in translation. Because Lord Rishabhadeva remained in that condition, the public did not disturb him, but no bad aroma emanated from his stool and urine. Quite the contrary, his stool and urine were so aromatic that they filled 80 miles of the countryside with a pleasant fragrance.
Vasaha ja purisha surabhi saugandha vayu sang desham dasajojanam samantya surabhin chakar. So, here is incarnation of God, Rishabhdev. Now there are so many rascal incarnations. Is it possible to pass through and make it Surabhi? Is it possible? So, you can ask these rascals incarnation that pass your stool here, let us see first of all. Then we shall accept it. Practical. We are fools and rascals. We want practical taste. So, Shastra Chokkhusha, this is the injunction. Shastra, here is Shastra, that the incarnation of God, even he passes through, it is fragrant. He can do it. That is God. That practically you can see that the cow dung, you can make a stack of cow dung here, it will never disturb you. You'd rather feel pleasure passing through that portion of field where cow dung is there, you'll never feel any disturbance. because it is pure. Cow dung, we have discussed this point many times, where it is impure, that it makes pure. In Indian villages, still they use cow dung for smearing over the floor, and it becomes very nice, fresh, and purified. That is injunction of the Shastra, that cow dung is pure. So, if by the will of Krishna, by the arrangement of Krishna, even an animal's stool can become so purified, what to speak of Krishna's stool. But param bhava vajananta, they do not know what is transcendental body, aprakita, Satchidananda Vigraha, and what is the difference between this body and that body. Mudha, they do not know. Avajananti magam mudha, manasim tanumasita. Therefore, they consider that the Krishna's body and my body is the same. If he has become God, so I shall not become God. That is not possible. His body is transcendental. Your body is not transcendental. Your body is this rotten earth, water, fire, panchabhauti. You cannot compare. In this way, as it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, his body is completely different from our body. Angani jasya sakalendriya vittimanti. We sing every day in the morning. His body is so made that he can do everything and anything by any part of the body. There are many instances. Just like generally we find a person is born from the yoni. Therefore, we call sarva yoni. But Mahavishnu or Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, he did not take any help from his wife to give birth to a son, Lord Brahma. He generated from his navel. This is called Angani Jasya Sakalendriya Vittimanti. We have to see that. However, it just understands ordinarily that a child is born from the navel. But he can do that. A child is born from female. That is from the yoni. But here is a living creature is born from the navel, and that is also Purusha. So these things are there. And Krishna, he exhibited, manifested his Virata Rupa. So he can do everything and anything because his body is not this body. Ishara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vika. That is Satchidananda Vika. You cannot compare Krishna's body with our body. If you do that, then you must be a mudha, rascal. Don't do that. Krishna is always transcendent. Dibbam. Janma karmancha means dibbam. This dibbam, you should understand. Dujanati tattva. He is liberated person. Anyone who knows what is Krishna, immediately he becomes liberated. Janma karmancha means dibbam. Dujanati tattva. It is not so easy to understand Krishna in truth. It requires time. He is not all of a sudden you can understand. But if you stick to devotional service, 𝒍𝒐𝒂𝒚𝒔 𝒍𝒐𝒂𝒏𝒕 𝒍𝒐𝒂𝒏𝒕 then he reveals. When you engage your tongue, it is also wonderful. To understand Krishna, you look at your tongue. Generally, we understand by seeing or by hearing. Hearing is there, but here it is recommended tongue especially. Why tongue is used? Because if you simply chant Hare Krishna by your tongue and taste Krishna prasadam, you will understand. 𝒍𝒐𝒂𝒚𝒔 𝒍𝒐𝒂𝒏𝒕. If you make it a promise that I shall not talk anything except Krishna's message, and if you promise that I shall not take anything which is not offered to Krishna, these two things, this prasadam and chanting, will make you perfect to understand Krishna. In another place Krishna says, 𝒉𝒐𝒂𝒏𝒕 yogam junjanamadaśraya. This is yoga, bhakti yoga. How easy it is. There are so many yogas, but if you practice bhakti yoga, you become first class yogi. Yogināmapi sarvesāṃ madhukatantara sadhyāvān bhajati yovān samejuktatam. It is very easy, bhakti yoga. It is not at all difficult. You haven't got to strain your body as in other hatha yoga practice. You have to undergo hardship to sit in a particular posture, in a particular place. These things are stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Not that you become yogi in a fashionable city, as you find nowadays, yoga ashram, signboard in a fashionable house, and you show some gymnastics, you become a yogi and get some money. Not that. This is bhakti yoga, begins from jiva, exercise your jiva, tongue, and you become a perfect yogi. 𝒉𝒐𝒂𝒏𝒕 yogam junjanamadaśraya. Aham swayam samagram. Samagram. Krishna, you understand fully, not partially. Not partially means not simply understanding impersonal Brahma, that is partial understanding. And then localize Paramatma, that is also partial understanding. But when you understand Krishna, the Supreme Person, that is full understanding. So you simply concentrate your mind unto the person of Krishna, 𝒉𝒐𝒂𝒏𝒕. Here is Krishna, we can see Krishna. If you simply concentrate our mind, meditation, sabhai mana Krishna padāravindē, vācāṃ vaikuṇṭha gunāsvara. This was the practice done by Ambarish Maharaj. So, Durvāsa Muni, he was a great yogi, and he became very much envious that here is a person who is a grihastha and a kshatriya, he is not even a brahman, and he does not practice anything. He is always engaged in his royal activities, and this man is so famous as a great person, great devotee. So I will chastise him. I will show. See, he wanted to pick up some quarrel with Ambarish Maharaj, and on the Dvadashi day he approached there with 60,000 disciples. And he said, Maharaj, arrange for our prasadam. Yes, welcome. But his purpose was different. So he went to take bath in the Ganges and Jamuna, and then he came late. In the meantime, he had to observe Dadashi Paran with the advice of the Brahmanas. He took little water. The Brahmanas advised, Maharaj, water is food and no food. It has no, actually, food value. So your guest has not returned as yet. You can take little water and observe the completion of the Adarshi. So he did it. And Durvasa came very angry that I am your guest and you have taken food. That is not food, little water. So he wanted to chastise him. He created a big giant to kill the Maharaj. So immediately Krishna's promise, 𝒄𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒕 name bhakta pranasati. Immediately Sudarshan Chakra came and killed that demon immediately, and then he pursued Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni first of all approached Lord Shiva because he was devotee of Shiva. Please give me protection. He said, no, it is not possible for me. Sudarshan Chakra is after you. Oh, I cannot do anything. Then similarly approached Brahma. So he also said, no, this is not possible. Then he was so powerful that he approached Lord Vishnu personally in the Vaikuntha Loka. He refused to help. He said, the Brahmani, unless you beg pardon from Ambarish Maharaj, there is no question of excusing. The Sudarshan Chakra will not excuse. Therefore, Vaishnava aparadh is very, very offensive. You should be very careful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned Vaishnava aparadh, hati mata. Vaishnava aparadh, offense at the feet of Vaishnava is exactly like mad elephant. If a mad elephant enters your garden, then it spoils everything. This has been Vaishnava aparadh, hati mata. Mata means mad, and hati means elephant. So we should be very, very careful not to commit any offense at the feet of Vaishnava. Vaishnava does not take any offense. He does not care who is offended, but Krishna takes care. Krishna will never tolerate if a person is Vaishnava aparadh. Mind that. Krishna is a big man. You can offend him, he doesn't mind. But if he does something harmful to his child, then he becomes very angry. Similarly, here also, Lord Vishnu, just see how much powerful was Durvasa Muni, that he could cross over the material universe and go to the Vaikuntha universe and see the Lord personally. How much powerful yogi he was. This you can. There is no such yogi, at least at the present moment. And he could see, but he was refused by Lord Vishnu, and he came back to Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj was standing without taking any food, that this Brahmana came at my place, somehow or other, unnecessarily he became angry, and he has left. So unless he comes back, I cannot take any food. So it took only 1 year. The modern scientists, they are estimating that to go to the topmost planet of this universe, it will take 40,000 of years. That is the estimation. Now, Durvasa Muni, by his yogic power, he not only crossed over this material space of the material universe, but he went to the other space, Parabham, where he saw Lord Vishnu, and he came back within a year. He said, that is yoga. One can reach even the sun planet by the beams. This is yoga practice. By touching the beams, you can go to the sun planet. There are so many wonderful things. So, Durvasa Muni was a great yogi. He knew all these things. Still, he was defeated before a Vaishnava. He had to come and immediately fall down. Maharaj Ambarish, kindly excuse me, I have done offense. Maharaj Ambarish was so humble that you are in trouble, Brahmana. So whatever I have got, asset, whatever I have done, austerity, penance and bhakti, you take immediately and be excused. This is Vaishnava. You take all my asset. So that was very friendly. Then both of them took prasadam, and then the Durvasa Muni could understand what is the power of the vote. Jagalabdha chaparangala mannate nadhikangatataha. So be very much careful to remain a spotless devotee, then all success is there. There is no doubt about it. There are so many instances. This is transcendental body. It has nothing to compare with the material body. Param bhavam ajananta. Krishna also says, janma karmantam 𝒍𝒍𝒂𝒚𝒔 vijnanati tat. So one has to know Krishna. But that tattva, in truth, to understand Krishna is very difficult job. Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaya jatatam avisidhyanam kaschid vettiman tattva. Not to understand superficially, but to understand tattva. Then you are liberated immediately. Takta deham punarjanma naiti. One who has understood Krishna, tattata, he is immediately liberated person. He is fit for being transferred to the spiritual world. Takta deham punarjanma naiti. Punarjanma, one who does not understand Krishna, he will have to repeat birth after birth. Nivartanti mittu samsara bhatmani. Unless you understand Krishna, haring vinana mriting taranti, you cannot escape death, birth, death, old age and disease. It is not possible. So, if you want actually your life successful, you must try to understand Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness movement. Then your life is successful. And to understand Krishna, no other method will help you. Krishna said, bhakta mama vijanati. Never say that I can be understood by yogic process or by karma, by jnana. The modern politicians, they stress on karma because they want to work hard like hogs and dogs. They think karma yoga. Of course, karma yoga is good, but karmis are mulas. Those are simply working hard day and night for sense gratification, they are no better than the hogs and dogs. They are no good. But karma yoga is different thing. Karma yoga means one who has got attachment for producing something, working something. So Krishna said that yes, you can do, but jat karosi, jat juhosi, jadasasi, jat tapassasi, purushottam, the result you must be to me. Anasritam karma phalam kajam karma karoti sa sannyasi. Anyone who does not take the result of his karma, then he is sannyasi. Suppose you are a businessman, you have earned 2 lakhs of rupees, but give it to Krishna. Anasrita karma phalam. Otherwise what you will do with these 2 lakhs of rupees? If you don't take it, will you throw it away? No, I said I throw it. It should be utilized for Krishna. So that people are very much enthusiastic to earn money in this material world. We can see practically, especially in the Western world. But if they engage their profit for pushing on Krishna consciousness movement, then their money will no more be engaged in releasing atomic bomb. Otherwise, it will be used for releasing atomic bomb. I shall break your head and you shall break my head. We both of them shall finish. Thank you very much.
He said, I have 2 favorite places in the world, and this Juhu and Hawaii. Why? Because wherever there are palm trees, that is paradise. And at that time, I counted all the trees. We had over 200 trees on the Hare Krishna land, palm trees. But Prabhupada loved it there. The tenants that lived in the backside, they would line up along the road. As Prabhupada would come in, they would all be standing there, ready to greet him, and Prabhupada would smile and speak to every one of them. It was such a very nice thing. Sometimes, as devotees, we had a little problem with the tenants, but they all loved Prabhupada. They must have felt his love.
At this time, there were not that many people who came, but the people who did come were very devoted, like Manmohan Das Kejariwal. We did all kinds of life memory making together in Bombay, and his ladies, Gandharvika's mother, they cooked and they cleaned, they did everything. There was an awful lot of devotion in these very few people. When he gave lectures at night, there maybe have been maybe 30, 40 people came. They were very attentive. And they were willing to do anything, like Mr. Sethi when he came. You know, he built a temple as a gift to Prabhupada, more or less. And rebuilt it also. We rebuilt it in one day, practically speaking, when they tore it down. So at this time it was, you can't really say anything was really happening. It was just try to collect some money, try to get it together. But Prabhupada really liked it there. I think he felt very at home in Bombay. He liked his quarters, even though they weren't very spectacular. It was just a plain old apartment. And he just liked being there. He liked the weather. He liked very much sitting on that roof at night. That's Mr. Sethi. He was very devoted. He practically did anything. This is the daughter of the warriors. They were incredibly devoted people, the whole family.
This was the Gurukul kids. All of us came up and it made these garlands and we all offered it to Prabhupada. It was such a festival. We were all excited at the same time, very anxious, At that time the temple was small, so it was more like a family, so everyone knew each other and everyone was one big family. We were there every evening. Daddy was there like clockwork. He used to go to Mangal Arati and Guru Puja, and then he'd go to work. And the evening Arati, he would be there too. We had pictures at first on the altar, and then Navyogendra Swami, he'd given us this Chaturbhuj Krishna. So we used to go ahead and have artiks, and every day evening artik was my job. I was a pujari at home. So that was one thing Daddy had started at home, was to have the evening artik. 6 o'clock I had to come back and take a shower. By 7 I had to do the artik. And before he passed away, actually, the night before he got really sick and he had to go to the hospital. And he said, no, until baby finishes the artik, I'm not going. So then I came, I did the artik, and he was like breathing real heavy. He was really, really sick. And then after the artik, he left for the hospital. And next morning at 10 o'clock, he passed away. That was the last I saw my dad. After I did the artik, he gave me a big hug before he went, and that was it. So, if it wasn't for Prabhupada, we wouldn't be doing that artik. He taught everything we have, everything we know. That's my dad and Mom. And that's Mr. Menon there. And that's my dad.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Here we see Srila Prabhupada, so transcendental, so detached, and watching this girls dance. He's so patient, Jagat Guru of the whole world. He's writing books that will last for 10,000 years. And yet he's so at home in all situations. He's so peaceful. That's what we see after 30 years, because in those days we were very young. We took it for granted. But now that we have become older, we realize that even in the old age, Prabhupada had no anxiety or no worries. His only worry was how to save the world in Krishna consciousness. Here in Bombay, he was very intimate with all the devotees as well as the guests. Whoever came forward was blessed by Prabhupada immensely. So this was a place, you can say, where Prabhupada distributed the love of God very freely. Patra patra vichara nahi, nahi sthana sthan. Without considering of who is deserving and who is not, without considering if this place is okay or not, Prabhupada just magnanimously passed out loving devotional service. He is smiling so royally, so blissfully. And this is his famous style. He would nod his head, approving whatever was going on. Akshananda Maharaj is asking Prabhupada, showing the book, and he is going to read now. This was Prabhupada's another famous pastime. And if a guest would come, he would quote a verse from Bhagavad Gita, and then he would say, open the Bhagavad Gita, start reading. And they would ask us to read the whole verse and the purport. Then again speak on that. This way, every darshan became a perpetual Srimad Bhagavatam class. From 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 o'clock, practically till he took rest. He would constantly speak.
One evening, I was alone on the roof with Srila Prabhupada, and we were talking about Vanashram. This was just after he gave the Vanashram talks in Vrindavan. And he was telling me various things, similar things that he had discussed on the walk. And then he started talking about Gandhi. He said that Gandhi actually wanted to establish Vanashram throughout India. His plan that he had presented to Nehru and the others was that first every village should become self-sufficient in making their own clothes, food, etc., etc. But that, he said, Sardar Patel and Nehru betrayed Gandhi. And they went ahead with the British plan to introduce factories immediately. And he said, because of that, India has become spoiled. Had they set up the villages first the way Gandhi taught, he said, then the spiritual progress of India would have remained intact. And then after that, he was almost tearful, and he said to me, I loved Gandhi. He really wanted the best things for India. And I was just amazed that Prabhupada said that. So the next morning, we went on a morning walk. And every morning, Prabhupada would walk on the beach in Bombay. At different times, some of the Indian gentlemen, life members, etc., would join our party. And when they would join the party, as is customary, they would offer, with folded palms, pranam to Prabhupada, namaskar. And Prabhupada, out of respect, would do the same to them. So on the morning after this discussion with Srila Prabhupada, we took a much longer walk than usual, way down to the end of the beach. So when we got very far down the beach, and I was on his left-hand side, he turned to his left, and he offered his pranam in a very deep and generous way. And when I looked, there was no one there. But way up, there was this statue of Gandhi under a gazebo. Prabhupada had walked to the end of the beach to offer a respect to Gandhi. And then we're walking back, and some of the life members come and join. And one of the life members brings up something about Gandhi. So they're saying Gandhi said this and that in the Gita, and what did Prabhupada think? And Prabhupada said, Gandhi destroyed the Gita. Gandhi said this, Gandhi said that. He made all mistakes. And Prabhupada was going on and on, now criticizing Gandhi's translation of the Gita, and his different ideas and concepts like that. And then after he finished saying all these things, he turned and he looked at me and he smiled.
Many aristocratic people take their morning walks on Juhu Beach. And one morning, as we were approaching the end of the beach, some very poor and humble fisher ladies approached Srila Prabhupada, and they very humbly joined their palms together and offered respects to Srila Prabhupada and said, Hare Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada commented that they're hundreds of times better than the rich people who don't know how to respect a saintly person. Another time, as we were walking back from Juhu Beach, Dr. Patel noticed the compound wall that Mr. Sethi had built around the property on Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So Dr. Patel told Srila Prabhupada that people are saying now you have a prison inside there. And Prabhupada paused for a moment and said, no, the prison is outside. Inside is freedom.
I was walking with Prabhupada on the beach, and I wanted to impress Prabhupada. So I said, Prabhupada, you know, just look how all these people were mad after sense gratification. And he turned to me and he said, you brought the poison with you. Which means that previously India was Krishna conscious, and the Westerners brought, you know, the sense gratification of Western civilization to India. They brought the poison with them.
We passed at one particular tree, had quite a lot of foliage on it, and that morning there was a lot of birds in that tree, and they were making a racket like anything. It was very noisy, to that extent that you couldn't really hear, you know, what you were saying. It was very noisy. And then Prabhupada stopped. He looked at the tree and pointed his cane towards the tree, and he said, they're discussing Krishna Katha. They were all like looking. And then Prabhupada turned around and he kept walking. And we were all like, really? You know, Prabhupada was quite serious.
Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would point to the seagulls or small birds that would walk just by the border of the ocean. And he would say, the huge ocean with such huge waves, at any moment the waves could drown the little birds, but still they dare to walk just at the tip of the water. Why? And then Srila Prabhupada said, because the ocean is under the control of Krishna. And the birds know the ocean is under control. It cannot suddenly go out of its boundaries and drown them. And therefore they dare to walk by the edge of the ocean.
And we simply think how much we are obliged to him for giving us protection in so many dangerous situations. My dear Uddhava, when we think of Krishna's beautiful face and eyes and his different activities here in Vrindavan, we become so overwhelmed that all our activities cease. We simply think of Krishna, how he used to smile and how he looked upon us. When we go to the banks of the Yamuna and other lakes of Vrindavan, or near Govardhan Hill or the pasturing field, we see that the impressions of Krishna's footprints are still on the surface of the earth. We remember him playing in those places because he was constantly visiting them.
Therefore, Mahabharata takes that this Krishna Lila is Maya. They are surprised. How God can be affectionate like this. He is nirbhika, without any attachment. They cannot understand this.
On one occasion, Srila Prabhupada was criticizing the Mayavadi philosophy, especially the philosophy of Vivekananda and Ramakrishna. Yato mat tato pas, as many ways, so many conclusions. In this philosophy, it means that whomever you want to worship, you can worship. Whoever your heart goes to, you can worship. And you will attain the same supreme destination. Srila Prabhupada was extremely opposed to this conclusion. So whenever such idea came, he would put them down forcefully and call them rascals who believes in such nonsense philosophy. So one time, one of the Dr. Patel's friends, Mr. Shah, he started screaming, "Why, you always criticize so many different people." So devotees were ready to push him away. But Prabhupada said, no, don't do anything. So for 3-4 minutes he kept criticizing. And we kept walking. Finally Prabhupada said, what can we do? We have to train our disciples against all kinds of deviant philosophies. Therefore sometimes we have to criticize. Krishna also criticizes in the Bhagavad Gita. Namam duskutiro mudha prapadyanti naradhama. Krishna also, in this way, criticizes people who do not surrender to him. Therefore, we also have to do that, Prabhupada would say. So then he kept quiet. It was about 5 minutes before we come to the temple, just at the corner of the Gandhigram Road. So we all came back quietly. Prabhupada would not let any of us become upset with the man. Then, as usual, we came to the Vyasasana and Guru Puja was going on. We were offering flowers. So this Mr. Shah also came to offer flowers. He offered flowers to Prabhupada's lotus feet. Then he put his head on Prabhupada's feet and started crying like a little baby. He was just crying incessantly. He knew he had committed a great offense. Srila Prabhupada was so kind, he just put his hand on his head and said, it's okay, it's okay. So gradually cooled him down. After that, next day Prabhupada said, we don't want to talk because if Dr. Patel comes, he will again argue. Let us instead read Krishna book. So this is how this Krishna book reading started instead of the discussions.
From the morning walk, Srila Prabhupada would come up to the temple. We'd open the curtains. He'd offer his respects to the deities. We would then offer flowers to the deities and flowers to Srila Prabhupada. And that would be our morning greeting of the deities and Srila Prabhupada. On this particular morning when we came, Srila Prabhupada was asked to sit in the Vyasasana. And then when he sat in the Vyasasana, a full arati was offered to Srila Prabhupada. And the prayer, Shri Guru Charana Padma, was sung in glorification of Srila Prabhupada. And we all went up and we all offered flowers to Prabhupada and offered our dandavats. And then after this puja was done to Srila Prabhupada, then Srila Prabhupada greeted the deities. And then we offered our respect to the deities. This was the first official Guru Puja. It happened around April of '74, if I'm correct. And from that point on, it spread to all the temples in the movement. I went back to Africa, and then I told them that this is now how we're going to conduct the morning program. And similarly, other devotees went back to other temples, and this became the standard by which we worshipped Srila Prabhupada and the greeting of the deities in the morning.
One evening we were having a very ecstatic kirtan. We were singing and dancing, and it was very, very ecstatic. So I was trying to keep to the schedule, more or less, so that he could give class afterwards. But the kirtan this night just became very, very, it was wonderful kirtan. The conch blows and the arati's over. So I said, okay, let me lead one more round. So I led one more round, and it got ecstatic. I said, well, maybe one more round. And it got really ecstatic, I said, okay, this is it. We're going to stop. The devotees had finished responding, and I stopped the kirtan.